Hello, it's Cathy Cassidy and I'm back again for Sunday Book Club, and today we're going to do lots of things, but one of the things we're going to do is talk about some of the inspirations for Angel Cake, which I have been reading chapters from over the last week. So yeah, let's just kick off. I hope all of you are fine and well. I wanted to say hello to a few people. To the students of St John Fisher Catholic College in Newcastle under Lyme, to Lena from Tunisia, who has been following the YouTube channel, to Hannah from Burnley, who's just been given a copy of Angel Cake and is listening along. So hi, Hannah, and I believe Hannah has a mum who can supply her with yummy cake to eat while she's listening, so that's very cool. Hello to Libby, who recently managed to get her stepsister Jessica into my books, which is brilliant. I hope you are both watching, girls. What else? Welcome to Rosie Ander, who used to read my books and says that discovering this channel has put a huge smile on her face and also made her remember how much she used to love the books, so she's been really enjoying listening along. A special hello to Lyra, who is a very keen Cathy Cassidy reader and just happens to be the daughter of the amazing designer and illustrator of this book. How cool is that? Hugely talented Sarah, who I miss like mad, but yeah, we had such a lot of fun working on these books together. So hi Lyra, and hello also to your fabulous stepsister Fern, and another hello to Agatha, who wrote to me, "This was my favourite book in the series, and I myself moved from Poland to the UK when I was 9 years old. Thank you so much for this and for the Polish representation in British literature. It means a lot to me." And Agatha, your message means a lot to me as well, so thank you so much for that. I absolutely love it when you guys leave comments or send emails or leave messages on social media. Agatha asked about inspirations for the book and for the different scenes, and that was one of the things that I wanted to talk about today. And also another reader, Nethini, asked what my inspiration was for Anya. So that seems like as good a place to begin as any. And I thought perhaps I would read you the little letter, the intro letter from the very front of the book, because that explains some of the inspirations for where the idea for this story came from. So yeah, I'll read it out for you. Says, readers love to ask me where my ideas come from, and the answer is anywhere and everywhere. A while ago in Ireland, someone told me a story about a young Dublin boy who wandered about the city after dark, wearing angel wings. Nobody seemed to know who he was or why he wore the wings. And a few months later, he just vanished, leaving nothing behind him but mystery. That story captured my imagination and really set me dreaming. When I decided to write about the experiences of a Polish girl who comes to settle in Britain, the angel boy idea somehow managed to sneak its way in too. The world needs more boys with angel wings. The Polish girl in my story, Anya, was inspired by a real-life Polish reader I met at an event. She handed me a description she'd written of her first ever day at school in Britain, and although her English wasn't good, her feelings just about jumped off the page at me. For the very first time, I began to see how scary it must be to move countries and start again in a place where you don't even know the language. And the idea for Angel Cake was born. Angel Cake's a story about dreams and how they don't always quite work out the way you imagine, and also about falling for the wrong boy who might just turn out to be the right boy after all. Where does the cake come in? Well, I guess cake has been a pretty big inspiration of mine over the years too, so why not? Hope you enjoy Angel Cake, and remember, life is sweet. So that's what I wrote in the intro to the book. And yeah, the inspiration for Anya was actually a visit to a big comprehensive school in Liverpool. And I did a big kind of hall event to the whole year group, and afterwards I signed books, and a lot of kids stayed behind, and a teacher stayed behind at the very end to introduce me to one particular girl. And this girl, her name was Anna, and she had only recently moved to the UK. Her English wasn't very good, but the teacher told me that she had loved reading my books. So the very first things that she had been able to read in English, so she'd really kind of connected. And she also gave me in an envelope a piece of writing that Anna had done and said, "This is for you, don't read it now." And then the teacher said to me as I was leaving, "Have you ever thought about writing about what it might be like to be a Polish girl in the UK?" And I said, "Well, no, because, you know, I don't really know what that would be like." And on the way home on the train, because that was back when I lived in Scotland, I opened the envelope and I read what Anna had written, and it was the most amazing, powerful, powerful piece of writing. Just short, not perfect English, not perfect grammar, but it was all about how she felt that she'd moved to such a strange and scary place, and how the other kids around her were like wild animals. And clearly she didn't feel that way for long, because she had lots of friends at the school where I met her. But yeah, it made me realise how scary it must be to move to a different place where you just didn't have the language. Anya in the book, her impressions of Liverpool aren't favourable to begin with. She's quite harsh about how Liverpool isn't what she imagined it to be. But Liverpool slowly works its magic on her, and the book, in a way, is actually my love letter to Liverpool. So please do stay tuned and watch the magic unfold. I also, I plan to, in a later Sunday book club, I'll revisit the character or the girl Anna, who inspired Anya in the story, because there is a really, really lovely twist in the tale to that little bit of inspiration, but I'm going to save that for the very end and tell you about that. Another thing I kind of wanted to mention was, it's really the theme of bullying and also of body image, because we, like it or not, we do judge people on appearances. And Anya is quite judgmental, if you notice, in those first few chapters. Particularly of Frankie and Kurt. And when she first meets Frankie, for example, she sees her as a misfit, a plump goth girl, not somebody that she would choose as a friend. And then she witnesses the school bully, Lily Caldwell, being really, really very spiteful and cruel to Frankie. And Anya suddenly jumps to Frankie's defense as somebody who's also on the edge. She can see just how unfair that situation is. And once she begins to get to know Frankie, she realizes that actually they could be friends. In short, she overcomes her prejudices. And I think actually many young girls and young women struggle with body image issues, and many not so young women too, trust me. And as somebody who was actually slightly underweight as a teenager, it's really disconcerting now in middle age to find that I'm overweight. But actually, I am an awful lot more than my body size, and so are you. Let's stop judging each other on looks, and let's stop judging ourselves so harshly, because we would never be so cruel and unforgiving of a friend as we are to ourselves. So it's kind of about trying to learn to be our own friends and to stop crushing our own self-esteem and that of others. So yeah, let's make that a bit of a deal. And there was one other scene in the chapters, those early chapters that I've just read to you, that I wanted to tell you about the inspiration for, and that is the desk on fire scene, which a lot of people were a little bit shocked by, and people were saying, "Oh, glad I didn't go to a school like that," and you know. I have to tell you that this scene where Dan sets the school desk on fire in class was actually inspired by my own secondary school experience. it was a little bit different to what happens in the story, and I thought I'd tell you about it because it shows you, it's an example of how something that happens to you, you know, you can daydream about it and play around with it, and it becomes something a little bit different. You can work out how to fit it into the story, but the inspiration was definitely real life. Way back in the dark ages when I was at secondary school, a little bit of a rough, tough secondary school in its way, but no different from any other really at the time. We had a teacher, an English teacher, who lit a candle at the front on his desk at the front of the class, and he asked us to write a poem about the candle and to look at the flame and so on. But there was one boy in the class who had nicked the matches from the teacher's desk as he was walking past. And he had the matches on his knee and was striking the matches and throwing the matches inside the desk once they'd blown out. And the teacher noticed the smell and asked if anybody in the classroom had matches. And the boy then threw a lit match accidentally, we think, into the desk. And it was one of those old-fashioned desks with a hinged lid. And back in the day when you were moving from one class to the next, you know, every hour or so, those desks just filled up with rubbish, with crisp packets, with scrunched up paper, all sorts of junk. And pretty soon smoke was billowing out of the desk. It was fully on fire and a fire alarm ensued, and the whole entire school had to be evacuated onto the school playing field. So yeah, I don't know if any of my old school friends are watching along, but if you are, I wonder if any of you remember that or were in the same class as me then. So cool. Okay, I had some shout outs. This week I wanted to give a special shout out to my cousin Chrissy, who is an NHS nurse and also awesome mum to 4 lovely kids. Chrissy is an amazing person, and it's also a shout out to all NHS staff for their courage and hard work right now and always. Never really appreciated for all the amazing things that they do, and genuinely should be. It's not just NHS staff though. My fantastic friend Jessie is looking after her elderly mom and also her elderly neighbour, both of whom live with her at the moment. So to all of you who are caring for somebody elderly or vulnerable, you are amazing and awesome, whether that's in a personal sphere or in a care home situation. You know, it's just a fantastic thing to be doing right now and always. And last shout out for this Sunday Book Club is to somebody called Faye, who was one of my readers. She used to love my books back when she was a teen. And Faye has a condition called Lee's syndrome, which makes her vulnerable at the moment to, you know, when everybody's being very careful about trying to avoid the lurgy. And I actually have many friends and family and acquaintances who are shielding and dependent on all of us to follow the rules and help to keep ourselves and others safe. So yeah, I care about all of you. It's for Faye, but it's for all of you as well who are a little bit vulnerable or have to shield for one reason or another. I love all of my friends, my family, my readers, vulnerable or not, and I want all of you to be safe and well at the end of all this. So by following the rules, we're looking after each other, and that has got to be worth it, right? So yeah, let's do that. Now, yeah, the other thing I wanted to talk to you about was, I just wanted to show you this again. I don't know if you remember this from last week, a little badge that the amazing Holly Evans sent to me to cheer me up, and it really did. And it also gave me a fantastic idea because Holly makes these badges. She has a little business online on Etsy called Achy Shaky Art. And if anybody wants the link, I can definitely pass that on. I thought actually it says certified amazing human being. And I know a lot of people who fall into that category, and quite a few of them are on this YouTube channel. So I wondered if it might be a nice cheer up thing to pick somebody out every week who has, you know, just asked a really, really cool question or made a really good point, or perhaps you might want to nominate somebody for this, and I will send a badge out every week to the person that I think most deserves it. So yeah, you can, don't forget to nominate somebody you think might deserve a badge like that, or I might just randomly pick somebody. Don't forget as well, you can ask your questions and leave your questions in the comments after the chapter videos as next week rolls along, and we'll do the same thing next week. So this week's badge is going to go to a reader called Lily Lost, and Lily commented and wrote to me to say that she is going to put fairy lights up in her room and listen to Angel Cake to help ease the pressure of having to study for exams in the middle of a pandemic, which must be quite stressful, I have to admit. So yeah, we hear you, Lily, and the first Amazing Human Award goes to you. And yeah, last thank you goes to Bedfordshire Libraries and Newmarket Library, who are religiously sharing the chapters. Thank you for that. And the very last thing, this week's cheer up thing for me has been to start to write my Christmas cards and wrap my Christmas presents. And you might be laughing at me and saying you are way too early, but it cheers me up. I love Christmas, and this Christmas we don't really know whether we're going to be able to see all the people that we really want to, whether all of our family and friends are going to be able to get to us. That's something we don't know yet. So I thought it would cheer me up to write those cards and wrap those presents, because that way the people I care about and love most in the world are going to still know that I'm thinking of them. So no matter what, so it's definitely cheered me up. Thank you all for listening in. Don't forget to listen out next week for the next 5 chapters of Angel Cake. It's been really, really lovely to talk to you today, and I'm sitting roasting away by an open fire, which is great because the weather's turned a little bit now. But I hope that you're warm and safe and dry. I hope, yeah, get some cake on the go for next week to listen to those chapters, because it's really going to fit with the chapters that are coming up. And yeah, stay safe, and I will see you soon. Take care.